The room is dark. A single beam of moonlight slices through broken blinds, landing on a motionless figure sprawled across a blood-soaked mattress. A rosary lies shattered on the nightstand. In the distance, a police siren wails, still too far away to help. A size 11 Avia sneaker print trails across the carpet, leading out the window into the void. This is Los Angeles, 1985. The city sleeps uneasily, not knowing a monster is already inside their homes. And for the next 14 months, they will pray in whispers, sleep with locked doors, and tape their windows shut. Because someone is out there, flitting between light and darkness, and he is hunting. Richard Ramirez wasn't born a killer, but by the time he was 10, the foundations were already there. Born in El Paso, Texas in 1960, the youngest of 5 children, Ramirez grew up in a home overshadowed by violence. His father, Julian, a former policeman in Mexico, was described as physically abusive, a strict disciplinarian with a volatile temperament. But nothing would shape Richard more than his older cousin, Miguel "Mike" Ramirez. Mike was a decorated Green Beret who returned from Vietnam with photographs of his victims, women he had tortured and beheaded. Richard was 12 when he saw them for the first time. Mike taught him how to kill silently and efficiently, how to stay invisible. And then, one day, in front of Richard's eyes, Mike shot his wife in the face. Richard didn't flinch. He didn't cry. He just watched. That's when something broke. At 15, Ramirez dropped out of school and drifted to California. Cocaine fueled his nights. Satanic worship gave him purpose, and burglary funded everything in between. What started with petty theft would soon become a trail of mutilations, bloodshed, and unspeakable horrors. The first known murder occurred on June 28, 1984. Jenny Vincow, 79 years old, was found brutally stabbed and sexually assaulted in her apartment. Her throat was slashed so deeply she was nearly decapitated. Police thought it was a one-off. They were wrong. By March 1985, the frequency escalated. On March 17th, Ramirez attacked 2 separate homes in one night, shooting, stabbing, and sexually assaulting his victims. He left no fingerprints, no clear pattern, no motive other than pure sadism. The media dubbed him the Valley Intruder, or the Walk-In Killer, before settling on the name that would stick: the Night Stalker. He entered homes through open windows or unlocked doors. He shot, stabbed, strangled, and bludgeoned both men and women. Age, race, neighborhood, it didn't matter. Los Angeles exploded with fear. Hardware stores ran out of locks. Guns were sold out. Safety lights glowed all night across the valley. And every time the sun went down, people held their breath. The first break in the case came from an unlikely source: a teenage survivor. 16-year-old Whitney Bennett woke up in a hospital bed, her skull fractured and face beaten beyond recognition. She survived. She told police her attacker had left her abruptly after trying to strangle her with a phone cord, believing that a divine force had intervened. A bizarre clue, but a powerful one. Then, in August 1985, a police officer found a fingerprint on a rear-view mirror of a stolen car Ramirez had abandoned. The print matched Richard Ramirez, previously arrested for car theft. They had a name, a face, an identity. But Ramirez had already fled. On August 31, 1985, Richard Ramirez walked into a convenience store in East Los Angeles and saw his face plastered on every front page. He panicked, fled, tried to hijack a car. The neighborhood saw him, recognized him, and chased him down. A group of civilians cornered him, beat him, and held him until police arrived. He screamed, "You don't understand. I'm a killer!" In court, Ramirez was calm, confident, smirking at the jury. He flashed a pentagram drawn on his palm and said, "Hail Satan." He was convicted of 13 counts of murder, 11 counts of sexual assault, and 14 counts of burglary. Sentenced to death. But Richard Ramirez never died by lethal injection. He spent over 2 decades on death row before dying of lymphoma in 2013. The monster, at last, succumbed. Not to justice, but to disease. Richard Ramirez wasn't motivated by need, not by revenge. He killed because it was the only thing that made him feel alive. Psychologists described him as a pathological narcissist with antisocial personality disorder, fueled by sadism and delusion. He believed, truly believed, he was an instrument of evil. He wasn't just a killer. He was a predator who fed on terror. A man who turned nightmares into reality. And in his own twisted mythology, he was the servant of Satan.
Richard Ramirez died at 53, never executed, never expressing remorse. And yet, the legacy of his terror lingers. The Night Stalker taught us that evil isn't always born, it's built. Through violence, neglect, obsession, through failures of family, society, and sanity. There's a saying, monsters are real, ghosts are too. They live inside us, and sometimes they win. As long as humanity exists, so will the shadows. And somewhere, in the dark, someone like Ramirez is already listening, already watching, already becoming.